My name is David Wood. I'm the chair of London Futurists. To introduce London Futurists, let me share 3 beliefs about the future. First, the future is fascinating. History is fascinating, and the present is fascinating, but the future is even more fascinating, and that's because of the many dramatic changes which are about to start happening. Second, however, the future is unpredictable. We cannot be sure exactly which kinds of changes will be taking place in the near and medium terms. There are too many things which are hard to analyse. There are too many small changes which might magnify and become much larger. Third, the future is very important, critically important. And that's not just because we're going to be spending the rest of our lives in the future. There's another reason. If we fail to prepare properly for the future, then we may very well regret what we experience and what we find about the future. We may be disappointed in that future world. We will have failed to prepare ourselves properly for it. For all these reasons, the mission statement of London Futurists is serious analysis of radical scenarios for the next 3 to 40 years. We look both at the potential upsides and at the potential downsides of these scenarios. The word radical in front of scenario implies we're not just looking at small incremental changes from what the past and the present show. Instead, we believe there's a real possibility of very dramatic changes in the near timescale. The next 3 to 40 years could see unprecedented changes for a total of 5 reasons. The biggest driver for change is technology, and the fact that the rate of change of technology is increasing. Increasing, in fact, in numerous fields. We're seeing improvements in infotechnology, that is, computers and communications. We're seeing accelerating changes in nanotech, which is our ability to manipulate and position and manufacture at the molecular and atomic levels. We're seeing improvements in biotech, engineering of life. We're seeing improvements in cognotech, engineering the brain and engineering the mind. And we're also seeing, for example, accelerating changes in our abilities in geoengineering, the ability to change the entire planet, for example, to interfere substantially in climate. The reason why this is important is because these technologies are having deepening impacts in many new areas of life and society. Technology is changing how we work and play. It's changing how we buy and sell, how we learn and how we teach. Technology is also changing how we keep fit and get healthy, and sometimes how we stop being fit and how we become unhealthy. Technology is also changing how we communicate with each other and collaborate and seek to govern ourselves. In short, because of these technological possibilities, we're seeing swiftly changing lifestyles all over the world. People are living differently from in many previous generations. The possibility of traveling around the world easily and cheaply, the possibility to communicate with people all over the planet is opening lots of new possibilities. Social structures are changing. People are searching for new norms to live their lives, and it's not at all clear what the end outcome of these changes will be. But one thing does seem clear, and that is we are consuming more and polluting more, and these are causing stresses and strains on the environment. We're using more of the world's resources. We're seeing potential environmental disaster. We're also potentially facing shortages and struggles over shortages, potentially even wars over shortages of things like oil, other energy, fresh water, rare earth minerals, and so forth. These pressures are growing. There are mechanisms which are meant to help solve these international tensions, but frankly, these mechanisms aren't working. These mechanisms are experiencing gridlock. There are too many factors at work, too many vested interests which cut across each other. As a result of that, we're making very little progress with key issues that many people have identified. Issues, in fact, that are causing many people to get angry and are generating lots of pent-up pressures. Issues such as the risk of runaway climate change, the risk of an economic catastrophe even larger than the crash of 2008 and 2009, risks of increasing terrorism, international warfare, risks of rogue states, things that we are seemingly incapable of solving. One thing that is spreading quickly, however, is news and ideas about news. These things are spreading like wildfire. Many fashionable ideas often with fairly little substance, but which people latch onto quickly. These are causing lots of changes of opinions. It's hard to see where this is going to lead. It's hard often to discern in the midst of all this noise what the reality is. But we can say that there is lots of risks for change, lots of pressures for change. That takes us back to the mission statement of London Futurists. Serious analysis of radical scenarios for the next 3 to 40 years. Note it's plural, scenarios, rather than a single scenario. There are multiple scenarios that each deserve to be investigated and analysed. There are, of course, many publications, many magazines, many films, many television programs, many websites that do their own analysis of the future. The quality of these analyses is frankly mixed. Some of it's rather good, but many of these analyses have characteristics that we in London Futurists wish to avoid. In London Futurists, we beware analysis that is full of hype and sensationalism. We also beware analysis that is driven for commercial factors, where people wish to establish various ideas about the future to make people buy products or buy services. Instead, in London Futurists, we seek to provide information that readers and viewers will find to be clear, reliable, and trustworthy. We wish to avoid two extremes: the extreme of over-pessimism, the view that whatever we do, the future is doomed, and also the extreme of over-optimism, that all we need to do is relax and technology will take us into a golden future. Instead, we wish to establish analysis of reality. We wish to build a community of people which holds and entertains multiple viewpoints, and through a discussion, through a wide dialogue, we become more aware of the factors that we should be pessimistic about and the features that we should be optimistic about. We don't want to be paralyzed by a change aversion, by a fear that whatever we do, any change is going to trigger bad consequences. On the contrary, with our understanding of the likely implications and consequences, we want to be ready to proactively make decisions and to steer the future so that we'll be better prepared for it, but also we'll be guiding the future into something that we're glad to exist in, rather than something that takes us by a nasty surprise. Last, we wish to avoid two Golden Age fallacies. The first fallacy that the past was a golden age, a simpler lifestyle, and that if only we could get back to that simpler lifestyle, everything will be golden. The other extreme is the view that technology is our clear savior, and all we need to do is unconditionally embrace technology, unconditionally embrace freedom and free markets, and that technology will take us straight away into a better future. To my mind, both of these views are far too simple. Instead, in London Futurists, we seek to establish a synthesis of the right views of all the areas of technology, politics, economic, finance, culture, and so forth. This is a synthesis that will be informed by many insights from age-old philosophies. It's also a synthesis that's informed by new ideas, new philosophies, new critical thinking, and new insights. And in this way, we wish to establish the platform that will allow futurists to clearly understand what the desirable outcomes are for various technological innovations, and that will take us into a future that we are all glad to be in. Find out more londonfuturists.com. Thank you very much.